Hello, you're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV, and I'm Prachi Jatanya. The water wars in south of India are back between Tamil Nadu and Kerala over the decision of the Supreme Court to raise the water level of the historic Mullaperiyar Dam. We find out what really happened. Take a look.
Tamil Nadu is in celebration mode as the Supreme Court has quashed a law framed by Kerala government in 2006. The Dam Safety Authority law prevented the state from raising the water level in the Mullaperiyar Dam from 136 feet to 142 feet. The 5-member constitution bench of the Apex Court held that the law was interfering with judicial functions and was violating the doctrine of separation of power. The court not only said that the water level must be increased from 136 feet to 142 feet, but also appointed a supervisory committee. The 3-member committee will oversee repair works and undertake safety measures in the dam. While Kerala may be feeling the heat of the Supreme Court, the drought-prone districts of Vaiga Basin are hoping that their days of misery will finally be over.
So taking us into the perspective of this entire long-drawn legal battle and what really will happen to the possible drought-affected districts of the Vaiga Basin and why Tamil Nadu is rejoicing whereas Kerala is angry. There are a lot of political reactions that came in all of yesterday and today. And to give us more perspective on this issue, in the studio we have Mr. P.V. Dinesh, a senior lawyer of the Supreme Court and advocate, lawyer with the Supreme Court who's joined us in the studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh, for your time. Also on Google Hangout from Trivandrum and Chennai, we have Mr. Sanjeev Ramachandran, the CEO of Syahi, who is joining us from Trivandrum, and also Mr. T. Ramakrishnan, who's a senior journalist and specializes on water issues. Thank you so much, all of you, for taking out time to join us at the conversation on India Post Live. Sir, Mr. Dinesh, I'll just come to you. Could you interpret for us, for the layman, what exactly the Supreme Court meant when it said that, you know, Kerala actually did not follow the 2006 law and went ahead to, you know, amend its existing law and did not allow for the water to be shared to raise the height?
Yeah, in fact, I would like to correct the first sentence because you are referring a senior lawyer. In legal parlance, of course, the commoner, it's a senior lawyer. But as per the Advocates Act, there are 2 types of lawyers. One is a senior lawyer, of course, a lawyer and a designated senior lawyer. I'm not a of course, I'm not a designated senior lawyer. Okay. Right, so far as this issue is concerned, the Supreme Court judgment basically rests on one point. Right. The essential issue is, of course, there are 2. One is Supreme Court says there was a judgment in 2006. And that was in February 2006. And March 2006, Kerala government amended its water conservation law and bringing the Mullaperiyar Dam under the schedule of that particular, I'm just using the layman language, schedule of that particular act, amended act, and call it as an endangered dam. Right. So that it has got a substantial threat to its security. What Supreme Court now says, see, look, there is a judgment which is an inter-party judgment because Tamil Nadu contested, Kerala contested, other environmental activists contested. Exactly. So that judgment has come to a conclusion. That is the judgment of the apex court, the last court of this country. Now, if you are trying to defeat this judgment by way of a legislation, of course, you may have competence to legislate. The Legislative Assembly of a particular state under the federal structure may have the legislative competence to enact any law. But if you are enacting something to defeat the purpose of a concluded judgment, which has attained its finality between the parties, then you cannot parallelly reopen it or defeat it. You have the option of filing an application for review, which you have done, exhausted your remedy. Of course, now there is a curative petition available now. That's a different issue. So there is no basis for this amended act. So that is basically overreaching. And we have been maintaining a strict code of separation of powers, judiciary, executive, and legislature. So judiciary's role in this country is to follow, see that rule of law is followed. Right. So if Supreme Court directions are violated, or whatever may be the authority, whether it may be Union of India or any state government for that matter, defeats maybe hyper-technical argument. There are so many other counter arguments to it, but I'm just telling it's not my viewpoint. What really what is the basis of the Supreme Court judgment.
Right. On this note, I will bring in Mr. T. Ramakrishnan. Sir, you've been observing this entire dispute between the two states for a long time now. What are your first thoughts on the Supreme Court's nod of approval for the raising of the height for the dam?
Let me tell you that I'm a deputy editor with the Hindu Chennai, number one. Of course, the 2014 judgment of the Supreme Court is only a reiteration of its judgment in 2006. So the broad principles have been adhered to. They have been reiterated. The only, I would call it, I would say this, in the last 8 years, one other development that reinforced the position of Tamil Nadu was the scrutiny of the entire dispute in a comprehensive way by an empowered committee, which was constituted on the order of the Supreme Court in February 2010. And the committee was headed by former Chief Justice of India, Justice A.S. Anand. So this committee also examined the issue from different parameters, and its findings have been favorable to Tamil Nadu, and this became the basis of the latest judgment. So it's only a reiteration. As far as I am concerned, it's a broadly a reiteration of what the court decided in 2006.
So, Mr. Ramakrishnan, I just wanted your thoughts on how much of a respite it will be for, the drought-prone districts in parts of Tamil Nadu in the Vaigai Basin. Is it going to be a welcome relief for them, this final decision or reiteration by the Supreme Court?
It's in a way, it's a psychologically, Tamil Nadu is in an advantageous position, number one. But the level, water level should reach 136 first. Now it's around 111. And southwest monsoon is yet to set in. So it is expected to set in by the end of May. Normally, its advent, the Kerala only gets the first benefit of monsoon. So it will take some time, number one. Number two, even if the water level goes beyond 136, so by raising the dam, the water level for another 6 feet, Tamil Nadu will get about 1.5 TMCF, which is about 25% of its present capacity. That would be fine, but let us see that is how the monsoon behaves and how the rainfall. So these are all things which you can't say right now. Yes, it's in a way it's very good for Tamil Nadu. That's all.
Okay, I'll just bring in Mr. Sanjeev Ramachandran, who is the CEO of SIAHI. He joins us from Trivandrum. I believe there is a technical problem, so we'll try and go back to him. But I'll come to you, Mr. Dinesh. Do you agree with what Mr. Ramakrishnan is sharing with us, his views?
One thing I don't agree is that it's a psychological, success. There is nothing psychological success. That we should really, come away from these sort of. When we are looking at this issue, we should not look at it politically, or psychologically, or a war between two states. We should look at the issue legally and factually. Right. So Supreme Court, of course, the last court of the country, it has settled legally and factually. Because I'll just tell you one interesting example. I was speaking to a former Supreme Court judge yesterday. So he's basically from the same area, that the threat perception area.
Okay.
So he was jokingly telling me, look, I was so worried and I was waiting for this judgment because my in-laws are from that area. So I don't know what will happen. Now the Supreme Court said dam is safe, so I am safe. My in-laws are safe.
But 5 districts are possibly under the submergence threat perception, Pattanamthitta and Ernakulam, all of them. So do you feel that these fears are illusionary of the locals?
See, it's not the question of illusionary because, think about a situation where a dam is built more than 100 years. 100 years of, then look at the structural aspect of this dam. It is not a very modern construction.
Right.
It was a limestone and Surkhi based construction. And so there are, there are a number of challenges to the structure during the period of time. And the maintenance work is also going on. So nobody can, of course, the very same former Supreme Court judge said, well, how can the Kerala people conduct an Hartal now?
Right.
Or how can they blame Supreme Court because one of the former judges of the Supreme Court, he himself was a member of the fact-finding body.
Right.
So there is a fact-finding aspect to this. They confirmed, they certified the security of the dam. But so far as coming back to the question of fear, that nobody can blame. Because just imagine a situation where in case something happens because of the seismic activity or for certain other reason dam collapses, then it's a very serious threat perception. And if you are living in that area, naturally, see, we won't be feeling, we are comfortably sitting in Delhi. But if you are if you are living in that particular area, nobody can blame.
Right. And it is under the
it is, because we look at the history of dam failure and throughout the world, that's a very serious consequences, very serious, unimaginable consequences would come. So there is, when there is an alternative way, when humanly possible to cure that defect by constructing a new dam, why should we discard that option?
Right. Mr. Sanjeev, if you've been listening to the conversation, thank you for joining us from Trivandrum on this topic. What is your perception of the entire Supreme Court, approval given in favor of Tamil Nadu in terms of raising the water level, sir? Mr. Sanjeev, can you hear me? Can you hear us, Mr. Sanjeev Ramachandran? Mr. Ramakrishnan?
See, I'd like to see it from a different, from the common man's point of view here, because what the people around the dam, the people in areas around the dam have been told for the last so many years is that the dam is in a very critical stage. And because it's been constructed long back, and the people living around the area have always been living in fear. So when such a judgment comes, when a Supreme Court ruling comes in at this hour, the people are in fact shocked, and the political parties are all together in this issue, and they are trying to ease the situation, but the reality is, I think, different. The reality is that the raising the height of the dam and leaving them to live in fear for more is like cheating the people.
So, but don't you feel that these concerns and fears have already been addressed by many committees over the years that have been appointed, and they have repeatedly assured that breaches and leakages can be repaired and taken care of scientifically? Mr. Sanjeev, sir? Mr. Sanjeev, can you hear us, sir?
But the people have not yet been taken into confidence. When they think that, hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. I'll just bring in Mr. Ramakrishnan at this point.
Yes.
Sir, it's been a long-drawn legal battle, and you've been observing the back and forth going on. Don't you feel that, the water wars in the long term, we are going to see a lot of shortage of resources, including especially water? Don't you feel there needs to be a permanent solution between these two states, because they've always been quarreling over a share of water?
Water has been subject of contention, not just between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It's about among many states, number one. Number two, I will respond to Mr. Dinesh's observations. You see, when I say it's a psychological, so now that the judgment is out, and only when the monsoon behaves, we will know how things will take shape. But the judgment on such a subject cannot be viewed only from the angle of law. Okay, it may be all right for lawyers, students of law, but for the rest of the society, they view it in a different way. Okay, so that's number one. So they will view it politically, they will view it in from very many angles. Number three, and then this safety aspect. This has been discussed, debated, examined in thorough detail, not just from one parameter, from various parameters. And it will be, I will be only torturing you if I tell you, give a long list of experts who were all called in last 15 years, not just 1 year or 2 years, 15 years. So if somebody doesn't want to listen to the, what we say, voice of reason, you can't do anything. Okay, fine. So the rationally, scientifically, something have been proved, something has been established that such a structure is safe. But if you keep on saying, no, structure is old, it's 150-year-old, it will collapse, all right, you are free to say anything. But the scientists, technical experts from across the country, not just from one part of India, from across the country, from different disciplines, multidisciplinary scrutiny has been carried out. So the safety aspect has been the major issue, I would say, before Supreme Court. So one must respect the Supreme Court when it says the dam is safe. And thirdly, as you said, that of course there is a what you said, that you ask for a permanent solution. Permanent solution is based on what you say, the spirit of give and take. But when there are case studies like Mulla Periyar, and if you ignore them, that is, if you ignore, say, judgments of Supreme Court, and still ask for some sort of accommodation, some sort of answers, how can a party which feels has been wrong for several years can agree with any kind of solution or suggestion for solutions? So there is, my point is, please read the Supreme Court judgment. It's very, very exhaustive, very illuminating, and it has examined each and every issue that must be bothering the people of Kerala.
Right. Mr. Sanjeev, I'll get you in at this point. There seems to be an audio lag. So if you can hear my question, I just want to ask you about your perception of the entire issue. Do you feel that, you are saying that people are concerned, that the fears are genuine, but what after this? What will be the next step for Kerala?
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the issue is about safety. The prime issue is about safety, and people have to be taken into confidence. And the next step the Kerala government is trying to do is to file a review petition. And see, it all depends on how the Supreme Court and the hearing and all goes. But still, nobody from either side, from Kerala or Tamil Nadu, or from the legal side, have been able to take the people into confidence on how safe is the dam. So as long as the fear exists, it is going to be a major issue for the people who are staying, who are living in that area. And another thing is, the fear has been multiplied when people have begun to talk about the chance of the dams breaking or something happening, disastrously happening there, and the 4 or 5 districts in Kerala are at risk. That is the perception the people are having here.
Right.
So unless and until the people are taken into confidence that the dam is safe, there's nothing to be done on this count. So people's safety is of prime importance, and the government has to take that into take that as the first thing to be addressed.
Okay. We also spoke to advocate from the Supreme Court, Mr. G. Umapati. Let's listen in. In fact, I asked him also about his concerns and the Supreme Court's nod of approval for raising the water level of the Mulla Periyar Dam. This is what he had to say.
The Supreme Court has accepted the viewpoint of state of Tamil Nadu. All the legal submissions put forward before the Supreme Court was.
There seems to be
the Supreme Court has accepted the viewpoint of state of Tamil Nadu. All the legal submissions put forward before the Supreme Court was been accepted. The suit has been decreed. The case of Tamil Nadu was the impugned act, that is the Kerala Amendment Act of 2006 in its application to Mullai Periyar Dam is unconstitutional. And that the act was only to nullify the judgment of the Supreme Court dated 27/2/2006. So that view has been accepted, and they also held that the dam is absolutely safe and there is no impediment for increasing the height to 142 feet, as that is the case put forward by the state of Tamil Nadu.
Right. Mr. Umapati, also, what about the possibility of locals and the Kerala government suggesting that a new dam could actually be proposed instead of focusing on repairing of the Mulla Periyar Dam, or possibly sharing waters in terms of raising the water level and sharing the water with Tamil Nadu?
No, there is a two expert committee, one expert committee in 2000, then the empowered committee appointed by the Supreme Court has gone into in-depth detail about the safety of the dam, and they have found the dam to be safe. And Supreme Court has also held that the apprehensions of the state of Kerala is not there is though none exists, because the safety of the dam, according to Supreme Court, is absolutely safe. Only to allay the apprehensions, although there exists none, the Supreme Court has appointed a committee so that in future there could be some monitoring by the three-member committee, of which headed by the CWC representative, and one representative each of the two states.
So, but don't you think that the fears of 5 districts of Kerala being possibly under the submergence level in case there is a breach, are these fears and concerns illusionary? Then what are your thoughts?
No. You see, the question of a new dam will arise only when the existing dam is not safe. To see, there are several countries, there are dams which are more than 300, 400 years old, and in CWC there is a publication where they give a list of dams which are even 800,000 years old. So the question is whether the dam is safe or not. And the dam has been strengthened in 79 to 85. All the strengthening was as recommended by the central team, which has been duly considered and duly agreed by the government of Kerala, has been done. And then the original height from 152, we came down to 136 feet during the interim when the strengthening measures were done. So all the steps have been taken, because we are also equally concerned about the safety of the dam. We mean the state of Tamil Nadu, because the dam is safe, it is absolutely safe. We have also our own mechanism, and the Supreme Court in 2 committees, one in 2010 and now 2012, they have found the dam to be absolutely safe and fully strengthened. So the question of a new dam would only arise when there is really a concern about the safety. So according to the court and according to the Tamil Nadu, the dam is absolutely safe.
Thank you so much, Mr. G. Umapati, advocate of the Supreme Court, sharing his views in Tamil Nadu perspective of the issue. He also shares similar views that one of our guests from the Hindu senior journalist, Mr. Ramakrishnan, also has in fact spoken about. I'll just come quickly to Mr. Sanjeev sir. One final word. Is the concern about the people the only thing, or do you feel a new dam and the proposal of the new dam is also one of the aspects that you know, people around you or people from Kerala are suggesting?
Yeah, the people of Kerala, in fact, are looking forward to a new dam because they have, the fears of the breaching of the dam has not been allayed so far. So you can't go by history alone in this case, because the people have been told, and they are convinced that the dam is not at all safe.
Sir, but what about the feasibility of making a new dam? Isn't it just diverting from the entire issue of sharing the waters with the people living in Tamil Nadu in the Vaigai Basin?
No, the Kerala government has reiterated that there is no issue regarding sharing of water. Kerala is willing to share water, but the issue is safety. That's the only issue here.
Okay. I'll just bring in Mr. Dinesh, sir. You want to join in?
Yeah, in fact, I don't agree with the views expressed by Mr. Umapati. The primary issue is, what would be the prejudice caused to Tamil Nadu if a new dam is built? Kerala never said we will not share water. Whatever the water which is flowing, that will be flowing in future if a new dam is built. So no prejudice caused. So what is really blocking is basically the political upmanship, in the sense Tamil Nadu wanted to, the Tamil Nadu government wanted to portray before its people, look, we have succeeded in a war against Kerala. That is a sort of a psychological thing, or it has got a political color. That should not be the aspect. And second issue is basically the supremacy of the Supreme Court judgment, because Supreme Court judgments are final because Supreme Court is final. That is the reason. Okay. Then Supreme Court judgment has got two aspects, as I mentioned earlier. One is factual basis. Factual basis is essentially the report submitted by a committee, because Supreme Court is not a fact-finding authority.
Right.
Supreme Court has followed a committee report.
Exactly.
There can be errors in a committee report. Nothing wrong if a better committee is constituted, a larger committee is constituted, and all issues are gone into. The second issue is, earlier there was a Supreme Court judgment which had gone into all this issue, so we are not supposed to look into this issue. Of course, and the Kerala government is not somehow supposed to come up with a new legislation. Legally speaking, or to uphold the supremacy of law, to uphold the rule of law, that stand is correct. But this is not a common man litigation which is happening every now and then. It is unique litigation. It's a suit filed by Tamil Nadu against State of Kerala in Supreme Court. It's a unique under Article 131. It's a unique situation. Supreme Court could have taken so many other views, in the sense, see, look, what was really confronting with the Supreme Court was the new act which has been legislated by Kerala government, and Supreme Court felt that, look, this is against our judgment which we pronounced in 2006. Supreme Court could have advised Kerala government, we will consider this issue, first to withdraw the act.
Right.
Let us consider a new committee, or we can go into all this issue. But at the same time, they can uphold the rule of law. So that technical argument will not come in the way. That is one aspect. And second, even factual issue also, Supreme Court said earlier in 2006, committee had gone into this issue. And the committee and the three other judges, and Justice A.S. Anand, Justice A.R. Lakshmanan, and Justice K.T. Thomas, they were the members of the new fact-finding committee, which was constituted by the Supreme Court in 2010, and they gave a report. Okay. And that report was basically in favor of State of Tamil Nadu. Okay. But these sort of issues, basically, if there is the primary aspect, State of Kerala has said, look, primary aspect is safety. So if that issue can be considered without compromising the water needs of Tamil Nadu, and without compromising the rule of law or supremacy of law, and if there is a solution possible, and the expenses involved in, or if Kerala government is willing to take in or to absorb that expenses, then what is the great prejudice caused to Tamil Nadu? That is that issue. I know I'm not able to digest, in fact.
Okay. I'll just bring in one last comment from Mr. Ramakrishnan. He also has to get back to another commitment, and also we are running out of time. One last point for this discussion, sir, Mr. Ramakrishnan.
There is the safety aspect which our friends have been raising has been discussed, examined thoroughly by the Supreme Court and also by several committees. It's not just one committee or two committees. There are several committees that constitute. And then this empowered committee headed by Justice A.S. Anand went into this dam safety issue specifically. That is, when the Supreme Court order gave its order in 2010, dam safety was one of the primary issues to be addressed by the empowered committee, and that the dam safety was examined from three parameters: hydrology, seismology, and structure.
Right.
So in all these parameters, the committee has found that the dam is safe. So how many more committees you want? You can have. We can have discussion. But finally, if you don't want to agree with the finding, I think we can keep on discussing this matter.
Okay. Okay. On that note, we'll have to.
The dam safety, the new supervisory committee, they should be housed exactly in that zone where dam is likely to breach.
Mr. Sanjeev, one last comment from you. We're absolutely running out of time. There's a Bandh, call of Bandh in parts of Kerala as well, sir.
Yeah, the whole state is observing a Bandh here. And though it's not as strong as what the political parties call, the general sentiment is that the state has been let down by the Supreme Court and the state government. That's the general sentiment here, which the state government will try and allay later on through this review petition, I guess.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us at the conversation on India Post Live, Mr. Sanjeev, and thank you, Mr. PV Dinesh, for taking out time, especially to join us in the studio. We really appreciate your views and comments. Do put in your feedback and views and comments on our Twitter handle at India Post Live and our website indiapostlive.com, and take forward the conversation about the Mullaperiyar Dam and the controversy between the two states. A possible water wars emerging in terms of sharing of the water levels and the raising of water level of the Mullaperiyar Dam. It's going to be a politically heated discussion in the coming days, so keep a track of it. Thank you so much for joining us at India Post Live. Keep watching.